Not every Christmas legend needs to be given the Christmas Carol treatment, or even in animated form. Grinch.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Happy.
But only if they... No crying. Oh, I have ways of knowing. My work.
Even circumstances.
Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and I'm here with a brand new rant for this next Christmas movie review. And this rant is going to be for a Illumination movie, and it was also a Dr. Seuss film adaptation. I remember reviewing the other two adaptations of the story when I started YouTube 2 years ago. And now it's time to review. Unfortunately, they're not the only two adaptations of this. Basically, we had a third adaptation of this. An unneeded cash grab. And that film is going to be for none other than the 2018 adaptation of The Grinch. The third adaptation of this story. Apparently we need several of these. Because hey, if Christmas Carol could get adaptations, so can this. And this movie has zero fucking reason to be made. Like, for starters, we already have two adaptations. For an animated one, we have this from Chuck Jones. For a full-length movie, we have this live-action film that starred Jim Carrey in 2000. So I would even make a third adaptation of The Grinch. Oh, right. Because we're Illumination and we only care about the money. The money's the only reason they even made this. Like, God, I'd rather get reindeer poo in my stocking than watch this again. This film was pointless. But let's get with the plot first before I get into rant details. Well, for their 8th fully animated feature, Illumination and Universal present another Grinch based on Dr. Seuss's holiday classic. The Grinch tells the story of a cynical grump who goes on a mission to steal Christmas, only to have his heart changed by a young girl's generous holiday spirit. Funny visually, heartwarming visually, stunning? No, it's not. It's a universal story about the spirit of Christmas and the indomitable power of optimism. Academy Award nominee Benedict Cumberbatch, really? You were literally in MCU as Doctor Strange, and this was what, and before Endgame, this is what you freaking chose for that break. This is what you just had to choose. Okay. Who lives a solitary life inside a cave of Mount Crumpet with only his loyal dog Max for company. The cave rigged with inventions and contraptions for his day-to-day needs, the Grinch only sees his neighbors in Whoville when he runs out of food. Each year at Christmas, they disrupt his tranquil solitude with their increasingly bigger, brighter, and louder celebrations. When the Who's declare they are going to make Christmas 3 times bigger this year, the Grinch realizes there's no only way for him to gain some peace and quiet. He must steal Christmas, and to do so, he poses as Santa Claus on Christmas Eve, even going so far to trap a lackadaisical misfit reindeer to pull his sleigh. And meanwhile down Whoville, Cindy Lou, who this time is now a young girl overflowing with holiday cheer, plots with her gang of friends to trap Santa Claus this time, as he makes his Christmas Eve round so that she can thank him for help for her overworked single mother. As Christmas approaches, her good-natured scheme threatens to collide with the Grinch's more nefarious one, And will Cindy Lou achieve her goal of finally meeting Santa Claus? And will the Grinch succeed in silencing the Who's holiday cheer once and for all? Well, obviously, spoiler if you know the story, no, it won't. And it obviously changes. We know that. We literally know how it ends. Because we know the story of the Grinch. He redeems, his heart grows 3 sizes big, he gives back the stuff he stole, and they invite him to the feast, and he carves the beast, the end. But how was this movie made? Well, in February 2013, it was announced that Illumination was developing a 3D animated feature film based on the Dr. Seuss book, with the working title How the Grinch Stole Christmas, later shortened to just The Grinch. And Peter Kendallin and Yarrow Sheney were set to direct. And though in 2018 producer Scott Mosier took over from Kendallin still stayed on the project for additional story direction. And then you had Benedict Cumberbatch cast as a Tyler character in April 2016. Illumination originally wanted Cumberbatch to voice the Grinch in his natural accent, but Cumberbatch felt that since the rest of the cast is American, the Grinch himself should have an American accent. And in September 2018, Angela Lansbury had been set to voice the mayor of Whoville, then Rashida Jones, Cameron Seeley, and Kenneth Thompson also joined the cast. And with Pharrell Williams, who had previously worked on Illumination's Despicable Me films and other Illumination stuff, was revealed to be narrated in the film. That's just another bad quality I'll get to in a bit. The animation was created by Illumination MacGuffin in Paris, France. Several software programs were used in creating the film. CGI characters including Maya, ZBrush, and Nuke, as well as in-house software. A 3D CGI model of the town of Whoville through which a visual camera could travel was crafted using Maya, ZBrush, Founders Murray, and algorithmic Substance Painter. And after the movie was shot, marketed, and edited out, and advertised, The Grinch should be released and distributed by Universal Pictures in the United States on November 9th, 2018. And it grossed over $512 million worldwide. It became the highest grossing Christmas film of all time, sadly beating Home Alone, which deserved it more than this, and the highest grossing Dr. Seuss film adaptation. That record should have been kept with this film. And it received mixed reviews from critics like every other Dr. Seuss film. They praised the animation and voice performances, but felt the film added little or nothing new to the source material. And it was the final Dr. Seuss film adaptation released during the lifetime of Seuss's widow Audrey Geisel, who served as the executive producer of the film and died on December 2018, 5 weeks after the film's release. And let me just say, and this was thankfully the final one Illumination did. And it should have been the final one, period. Warner Brothers bought rights to more Dr. Seuss films, and they're probably going to ruin them too. So, it should have killed the films together. Because as for my reaction, let me just say my thoughts on these Dr. Seuss film adaptations. The only one I've ever liked was this. This was the only Dr. Seuss film adaptation I even enjoy. I absolutely, you all know, despise The Cat in the Hat. That's one of the worst films ever made. Never been a big fan of Warriors of Zoo. Always found that one overrated. You know, the one with the stupid anime reference, and the one where they sing a fucking pop song at the end for no reason. The one from Blue Sky. And then you had the Lorax, which was extremely hypocritical and cringy, especially since it's from the same company as this movie. As this version. The only scenes I like in the Lorax are the scenes with the Lorax. I don't care about Zac Efron's character. I don't care about the stupid present scenes, and I don't care about the stupid music numbers. This movie, on the other hand, was extremely stupid and unneeded. It was just made for the box office money. And you're probably all like, you just hate this movie because it's Illumination, because it's animated. No, it's not why I hate it. I hate it because it's boring, it's unneeded, and it's forgettable. The only Illumination films I liked were Despicable Me 1 and 2, and Sing 1 and 2 I also did enjoy. Those are their 4 only best stuff. I know even some of Illumination's haters hate the Sing films, but they're the few rare ones I personally enjoy for being different. And I'll get to more details on that in a bit, and I did decently enjoy The Rise of Gru as well, and I'm hoping Mario can thankfully turn this company around and finally get them on their proper feet. This movie is not among Illumination's greats. In fact, it's among their worst. I rewatched this movie yesterday, and it's even worse than I remembered. Some people even say this is better than the Jim Carrey one. Are you fucking serious? What movie did you watch? I get it's your guys' opinion, but are you seriously kidding? There's like, when it comes to the Jim Carrey movie, there's some that even go, the Jim Carrey movie scared me as a kid. I saw you're at that age, and I was never scared of the Jim Carrey one. Is it? I consider that a holiday classic. Now, is it better than the Chuck Jones special? Well, no, obviously not. The Chuck Jones one is still superior in every way, but the Jim Carrey one was pretty good for an hour-long film adaptation. At least he acted like the Grinch. He was still the Grinch in that movie. What in the fuck was this supposed to be? It's dull and boring. It's not interesting. It's only funny in certain places, and even then it only resulted in a small smile. If what's advertised to me as a comedy movie isn't that funny to me. I think it's failed as a movie. This could have had the potential to be a pretty decent movie, and it's not the first time Illumination has done a Dr. Seuss movie. Expectations weren't exactly through the roof, but that was not surprising either. The animation is pretty good, I'll say that, as expected for Illumination, but can only dazzle for about 5 minutes before I realize how dull and uninteresting this movie is. The magical soundtrack from the 1966 version is gone, and has instead been replaced by a combination of the old played Christmas songs that come around each year and rapping holiday lyrics. The attempt at the modernization of this classic story is abysmal. The Grinch is no longer the antagonist from the previous attempts. He has been turned into someone who, excluding a few moments, seems genuinely happy. And it makes the changes he goes through during the movie useless, and by the end, nothing's even truly altered. Instead of focusing on a single central theme, the movie attempts to stuff in as many messages as possible. While the messages are technically present, nothing is developed enough to be memorable in any way, and there's nothing to even take away from this movie. This film is boring, the jokes were both predictable and bad, the story was weak, the animation is exactly the same as all other Illumination movies. Who's don't even look like the Who's. The plot even was seriously underdeveloped, and seemed to be lifeless and tedious at points. The moral allegory presented in the film was overly cliche, and appears to be forced as opposed to presenting it in a natural way. And humor throughout the film was even average, making some scenes very boring. And the main problem with the film is that all the character writing is all informed instead of being shown, which once again is a mixed bag. Notably how the Grinch is written to be a terrifying grump who outright hates Christmas because of his past experiences with it, but his backstory and personality hardly make it look like he outright hates Christmas. And the former just shows him having to miss out on Christmas instead of being scarred by it, and the latter makes him too normal to be seen as if he's a terrifying grump. And the Grinch's design, who's beautifully animated and faithfully translated from the book and animated special, and feels more soft and menacing. Max's design also looks out of place and feels like a lost background dog from The Secret Life of Pets, another film from Illumination, aka the one that ripped off Toy Story. And you have the new reindeer character Fred, who's just this pointless comic relief character who shows up for a few scenes and then shows up at the end to actually do shit. And it's only the Grinch saving Christmas presents and then he's gone again. Like, you could cut the reindeer out of the movie and it would have changed a thing. The film would often leave out some of the important dialogue, like, remember like in this one, when he realizes what Christmas is about, he's like, maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more in this story. That's where he redeems. And when he redeems, it's done better in here. When he says that, his heart grows 3 sizes, and he then breaks down in tears when he realizes what he's doing. It was a perfect way to redeem the character in this. It's a pretty beautiful moment. He finally admits he loves his dog Max, and then you see Cindy on the bed that came to see him because she didn't want to be alone Christmas, and he immediately uses his strength to pull up the sleigh so she doesn't fall over dead. He saves her life, and he rides it back down, and we know how the rest of the story goes. What's worse with this movie? This movie makes the Grinch song into a fucking rap song! I don't like rap songs in kids' movies. I've never been a fan of kids' movies having rap songs. It's the bottom barrel of their soundtracks. Yeah, this movie has a rap version of the Mr. Grinch theme. Performed by Tyler, the creator was very poorly done in attempts at being hip and cool with the kids, It's such an insult to one of the best Christmas songs ever. Even Jim Carrey sang it better than Tyler in the live-action film. It still sounded... The Jim Carrey version of the song even sounds like the original special song. Just with a different artist singing it, obviously, but... It was done in that... That cover was done better. And as for the narrator... You have Boris in the Chuck Jones film, and you have Anthony Hopkins for the 2000 film. The narrator for this is Pharrell Williams. Yes, guys, that's right. The guy who's singing a song about rape called Blurred Lines from 2013 narrates a children's flick, an adaptation of a Dr. Seuss story. Then again, he's a frequent collaborator with Illumination, but his narration in this movie is just distracting cringe to get through. What's more is that this movie cashes in on that stupid screaming goat meme in one scene, and the Grinch tries to find a reindeer to pull this plan. The movie even ends with the fucking meme. And yeah, the last shot of this adaptation is the fucking goat. Like, are we even supposed to take this seriously? Like, if you literally take out the Grinch and call him any other character, you won't even miss shit, and it won't make a difference because this movie's not even the Grinch in the slightest. This is pretty much just some lazy Gru knockoff. Just dressing up as the Grinch. Heck, I would have rather saw Despicable Me Christmas Special over a lazy attempt at a third adaptation of the Grinch. But there are some good qualities with this film. Well, first off, depending on your opinion, the movie actually has the Grinch treating Max nicely in some scenes, which, again, depending on your opinion, is a nice change from the original 1966 special and 2000 film. Unlike Illumination's previous Dr. Seuss adaptation of Lorax, it doesn't have as much pop culture references, and it's more faithful to the book unlike the special it's based off of, as well as the live-action Cat in the Hat outside of the internet memes and that stupid screaming goat. Danny Elfman's score is amazing, and in particular the songs are catchy, except the infamous stupid rap song of the Grinch, which I've mentioned. Now, when I say I liked Despicable Me 1 and 2 and Scene 1 and 2, here's the thing. I don't like Despicable Me 1 and 2 because of the stupid minion antics and the minions farting for like 5 minutes, or that stuff. Why I like the first film and the second film is because of the protagonist Gru being a likable protagonist and his interactions with the 3 girls in the first film. Being all heartfelt. That's why I like the first one. And the second one, I like how in this one it kind of completes the story arc of him finding a girlfriend and a love interest. Here, actually completing the family he's formed. Now with Sing, I don't give a shit about the stupid scene during auditions where the bunny's twerking an anaconda, or the dumb unfunny scene where the buffalo farts on Buster's face for like 2 minutes. Why I liked the first Sing movie was because it was actually different and not trying to cash in on something. It actually did something more mature and stuff, and honestly, I know people hate Buster, but I actually like Buster a lot. I actually like his passion for theater. I actually like his optimism and stuff. I mean, yeah, he does some illegal things in these movies, but at least he still has passion for like his staff and his like crew, and I like his chemistry between him and the contestants. That's why I like those 4 movies. They don't rely on the stupid gags, and they actually try being creative. Really wish Illumination tried to be more like that, but no, because Chris Meledandri runs it, we'd rather have a bunch of greedy cash-ins. Because, other than the few good qualities I mentioned, the 2018 adaptation sucks, and if I want to watch a good Grinch adaptation, I'll just rewatch either one of these. And I'm just going to pretend this version does not exist or was even made. So in the end, I would highly recommend you guys do the same because you have no reason to watch this. Anyway, that's it for my review of the 2018 Grinch. And if you wonder how I'm going to rank the 2018 Grinch, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, unless you want to be pissed off, then I would just watch either the Chuck Jones film or the Jim Carrey film instead of this trash, because those two get the Grinch right at least. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank the Grinch 2018, I'm going to give the Grinch 2018 a 4 out of 10. There we go. That covers up my review for 2018 The Grinch. Now let me do something like this. Problem solved. Now, next Christmas, older Christmas movie I'm going to review is going to be an actually good one. And it's another one of those rare Christmas-themed action films. No, not Violent Night, that will get a review too, but it's another one from the 80s before Die Hard came out. And it was one involving Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, and another one from Richard Donner. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be reviewing Lethal Weapon next, and yes, it is a Christmas movie, guys. Before I go saying it's not a Christmas movie, it's not about Christmas. Well, it's set during Christmas, so it is a Christmas movie. Deal with it. Till then, that'll be it for this rant. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.